out there and talk about this. We talk about teenage pregnancies. We say, oh, we're African. We cannot talk about sex to our children. But the internet is talking about sex to your children.
Every
and
second.
Drugs,
At the initial stage, and as you opened up, you're talking about the importance of the affirmative action seat and really understanding what this seat entails for women. So would like you to delve a little bit deeper into what the seat entails.
Yeah, so you see, the thing is, the population is 50% women, 50% men. Mm-hmm. We're almost there. Yeah. If it's 52 men, or 48 women, or vice versa, we're 50-50. Mm-hmm. And women felt that we need representation in the house. It was a completely male-dominated territory. And there are decisions that need to be made that affect women. Mm-hmm. And also, I think we needed to have representation. We needed to have women there to discuss women issues and to give a woman's perspective. So this affirmative action seat is all about making sure that both genders are represented.
How can we explore with National Government Affirmative Fund to see if we can get a desk in each of your offices to have a representative of the network posted there so that they can be able to facilitate and work with other survivors.
Why is that girl being raped? Why is that teenager being defiled on the streets when we have a government that can be able to put up a street light? Why do we have teenagers exchanging sex for sanitary towels when we are paying taxes, when they need to be protected?
We want to figure out how we can have a safe space, but at the same time teach women self-defense.
Yes.
At the same time teach children not to be scared to speak out. At the same time end FGM. Yes. All right? It's a national agenda to end FGM.
Yes.
At the same time to make sure that we talk to our men and tell them, that this is wrong.
Yes.
You can't abuse. In Nairobi, we've had mentally challenged children being vulnerable because they rape them too. We've had old people being vulnerable because they're also, the youth spread this rumor amongst themselves, like they did when we had HIV in the beginning. They used to say, oh, when you rape a little child, you'll be cured of HIV.
Yes.
So the youngest child to be raped is 5 months. The oldest woman to be raped is 83. I mean, what are we thinking? So they have this thing that they talk about that when you rape an old woman who's not sexually active, the police will not catch you. I mean, surely, So civic helps us to go out there and talk about this. We talk about teenage pregnancies. We say, oh, we're African. We cannot talk about sex to our children. But the internet is talking about sex to your children.
Every
and
second.
Drugs, and depression. So if we have civic, we actually do skits.
Yes.
And we get these young youth to come and perform and educate with the entertainment.
Yes.
We embrace community dialogue, awareness level at the grassroots level to bring both men, women together, boys, girls together, and just confront this issue.
We invest so much in the girl, and then they're abused by someone. You're like, So what we have adopted in the last couple of years is working with men and boys in the fight against GBV.
Yes.
So we are working especially with the border riders to be able to reach out to the other men in the community and their peers. Because they either are some of the abusers, or they carry the abusers, or they know the stories that happen in the communities. So that for me is very important, to engage everyone in the community and say, how do we work more on prevention than reacting when things have already happened?
For us being at the table. You
Oh,
know, if
fantastic.
you're not, if you're not at the table, you're actually part of the menu.
Yeah, someone is having conversations around you.
Yeah.
So the survivors to actually be at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are at the table, you are able to articulate the challenges,
Yes.
some of the barriers that hinder you to do something, or the challenges that you're going through.
Okay.
And then also whether the existing interventions, policies and laws, whether they are working for you.
Yes.
Because even when we are developing policies and laws and interventions, if you don't listen to the survivors, there's a likelihood that you're going to develop an intervention that will not work
Yes.
for that
Yes.
person.
Yes.
So by doing so, you will bring the affected to the table to tell you, yes, I am in agreement with you to this point, but then change this to be like this,
Yes.
so that, and then in the process, they own the intervention and they take back the news to the community, and the community will buy into the intervention that has been set up. So we'll also improve uptake of services if we are able to do that.
This person needs to be on the table, on this affirmative action table. We need to speak about these lived experiences, because then those will inform what the solutions looks like.
The fight against gender-based violence is not an isolated fight. It's not where I'm going to pick the girl who has been defiled, or I'm going to pick the woman who has been abused and only deal with that. There's a whole society which involves the men, the boys, and everyone, that we must sit and have open conversations about what is happening and what the perpetrator needs to do, what the men need to do. They need to become the protectors as opposed to be the
Abusers.
the abusers.
We're strong.
Be strong.
Na tujikubali. Na tujue tunaweza.
Accept yourself and you can.
Jikubali na ujue unaweza.
Have to rise above the bar. We have to stop normalizing gender-based violence.
Yes.
Women have to stop saying that I did it. It happened to me. So if it is happening to you, it's okay. Even you can just do it. For you to inafaa tutoke huko to guide our young girls and young boys, the right way. We have to create alliances with boys and men. Isio vita.
Survivor, a community member, a duty bearer, a service provider, is to actually break down the barriers for survivors to be able to amplify their voices, to have a choice to choose, but then also to enhance their self-agency. As Wango, I have the right to come and share my suggestions with government structures to inform an intervention so that it can be survivor-centered, trauma-informed, and in the best interest of a survivor. So if we are not able to do that, then we are not working for the survivors.
Being a survivor is not like, it's not like a cloth you can put on and get it off in the evening. Abuse takes a toll on women and girls. It is a lot. And so I think that we cannot have solutions without the inclusion of survivors. They have to be part and parcel of all the processes, from the brainstorming to designing to implementing to reviewing to everything, and even to holding our leaders accountable.
How you deliver services to them. So we build the capacity of the survivors of sexual violence in the networks. We help them understand what the different kinds of violations and the different forms of gender-based violence. And apart from that, existing laws, what available services are there. Apart from the services, what do you need to do once a violation has happened, so that you can preserve evidence and also get to hospital within the 72 hours required, so that you can preserve evidence, but then also ensure that you do not contract HIV or any other sexually transmitted infection. So by doing that, then we are creating a safe environment for survivors to speak out without fear of threats, intimidations, or victim shaming or victim blaming.
We do not have enough safe houses in this country. I think most of them, like 97% of them, are run by individuals or non-governmental organizations. That's an area that,
government needs to step up.
Yeah, like, I mean, yes.
Yes.
Because it's very expensive to even run a shelter, and because it's a lot.
It's not our fault that we can't do more. I decided with my team that let's focus on gender-based violence, especially after 2020, the COVID pandemic.
Period, yeah.
We saw a lot of GBV. We've got a lot of rape, defilement. We've seen 200,000 children getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Those are not children that have actually had consensual sex. They're children, they're minors.
Yes.
Most of them have been defiled and abused.
Yeah.
So we thought, how can we fix this? How can we help give some support? So Nairobi doesn't have a safe house run by the government.
Yes.
So with Nairobi County, we got land, thanks to N. Kananu. I mean, we need women in certain places. N. Kananu was governor.
In leadership.
She was governor,
Yes.
and she understood that I needed the land.
Yes.
So we got this land, and we're putting up a safe house in partnership with Nairobi County. It'll be the first safe house run. It's had a lot of learning curves because we don't have one. I think the whole of East Africa will finally come to Nairobi to learn from us.
Beautiful.
But we are working tirelessly together with Nairobi County. I'm so grateful to Governor Sakaja giving us his entire team, trying to do everything in-house so we can save money. Yeah. And hopefully we'll launch it in the next 3 to 6 months.
We all come together and agree and accept that this is a scourge that we have amongst us, and appreciate that gender-based violence is not a respecter of persons. It does not care who you are. Pastor's wife, GBV.
Yes.
Teacher in school, GBV. Boss in some CEO in a company, GBV.
Yeah.
A politician woman, GBV. You name it. It's not a respecter
of persons.
Not a respecter of persons.
Yes.
And to that point, it behooves us, women leaders of today, to gather the courage, to rise above the barriers and the discriminations, to bring gender-based violence from the shadows to the forefront, to confront it and deal with it.
It needs all of us to come on the table and have these honest conversations and coordinate, collaborate, even in the civil society, it's not a competition, right? It's not a competition. It's more on protecting these girls, teenage girls, and being able to allow them to grow up in a world that they feel dignified and that they have the freedom to do anything they want to do, and they feel safe, and they can be whoever they want to be.
We can be able to reach a certain community with Lucy. We can be able to reach a certain community with another survivor. We can be able to reach a certain community at safe houses. We can be able to reach a certain community at rescue centers. So, and that is why we are here at the Affirmative Action table, to open the spaces where survivors can go. And before we even reach that level to survive, just saying we need to end this menace called gender-based violence. So for the 16 days of activism, we really do believe that the stories that we are putting out at the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, that these stories will enable us to open the spaces where women can speak up, men can speak up, and we can have a society free